Hey everybody, welcome to Light Elegance Power Hour. I am Elaine Watson, not Jim McConnell, despite my Zoom link name. I am the Global Education Director here at Light Elegance. I am so thankful you are all here today because it's a special day. We are unveiling the Jimmy colors, and today's host is the lovely LE educator, Ashley Biasella. Welcome, Ashley. I'm tossing
Thank
it to
you.
you, sister. Take over. I'll be here with any questions that pop in the chat or if I need to chime in. But for now, it's all on you, sister.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody. As Elaine said, my name is Ashley Biasella. I am a Light Elegance educator. I have been for quite a while now. I've been a nail tech for almost 16 years. So I've been using Light Elegance products for almost that entire time. These power hours are really fun, but like Elaine said, today's a super exciting one because we're doing a launch product that just released, and it's something brand new. So I'm super, super excited to show you guys all the colors for the Jimmy colors. I am going to try to show you different ways to use it and things like that, but I am working on quite a few videos. Definitely head over to my Instagram afterwards to find some more like nail art tutorials on those. And yeah, let's go ahead and swap on over to my desk camera here. So I'm super excited because this is what we're working with today. And these, I have been waiting for so long for these products. So this one is definitely my favorite. This is our sheer black. And I'm so excited because I can finally stop making my own. I've had this container that I continually remix and make my own sheer black. And I'm just so excited that I don't have to do that anymore. Now I have this pretty bottle and it works so beautifully and layers so nicely. And then we have our sheer sparkle. And the color that's in the caps is the actual gel. So that's a very accurate representation of the color that's inside the bottle. So I love these new bottles. You can see how sparkly that is, but it's a very nice fine shimmer. It's not overpowering, so you could totally use this just to add a little something to your color. You could do it for stone nails, layer it in between the sheer layers. It's so pretty. And then this is our sheer brown, which is also really great for shading if you're doing more, especially for fall and Halloween. If you're doing something that's a little more natural looking and not quite like harsh, the brown is really great for shading. But also, this is perfect. This and the next one I'm going to show you, the amber, are perfect to use together for tortoise shell. And then the amber, which I feel like this is probably going to be the one that most everybody is excited about because look at that. That is the perfect tortoiseshell color. Like it's so pretty. I'm so excited for this one. And all of these, because they're made in our fabulous Jimmy Gel formula, can be used as a thin application. You can build with them. You could do a structured gel manicure with them. You can use these to do everything that you can use our current Jimmy Gel line for. So we have a question in the chat that this is a builder and base all in one. That is what this product is. So this is still at its core a builder in a bottle. We just have created sheer colors now instead of just our clear and pink Jimmy Gel line. So you can absolutely build these out over a tip. You can build these over a form. And these are more the consistency of our traditional Jimmy Gel, not our skinny Jimmy. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you guys just a few different ways that you can use these. Just fun for the season. I know in Arizona, we don't really have fall, but I like to do fall nails. So I'm going to show you guys some fun stuff. And then as far as top coats over this, I saw a question about using top gloss. You could use top gloss. I usually use super shiny over my Jimmy Gel applications, but you could use super shiny, you could use top gloss, you could use or P plus no wipe. Any of our top coats are going to work over top of Jimmy Gel if you do still have some top gloss left. However, that one was discontinued. Just usually I recommend super shiny or the P plus no wipe. Okay, so first I'm going to do a layer. I'm just going to show you guys a layer of each of these, and then we'll do a little fun. So I love that these are buildable. That's probably my favorite thing. You can do a really thin layer, or you can build these up like you would do a structured gel manicure. And they're really movable. So I love painting with them because they're a little, I think that's why I like it that it's in the more traditional Jimmy Gel consistency, because I can paint with them a lot easier and I can move them around and have a little bit of time to play with it. So that's the sheer black, and that's just one thin coat. I haven't built on that. I haven't done anything extra to it. So I'm going to cure that, and all of these are going to be 60-second cures. And then next, I'll show you the brown. Oh my gosh, I just saw in the chat that the Nail Tech event tickets are already on sale. Is that true? That's wild.
Nothing like being an audience member at a power hour and being in the know. Thank you,
I know.
Felicia.
Freaking love that, because if you have never been to the Nail Tech event of the Smokies, you need to. It is amazing and such a fun experience. And also, like, you can't really beat like being in Tennessee. I think it's so fun. So that's the sheer brown. And again, I'm just showing you guys like that thin layer first off so that you can see how buildable these are. And then I'm going to use the sheer sparkle. And I love this sparkle. It's like a perfect, not too glittery, not too sparkly, just enough little oomph to add a little bit of an effect to a client that maybe doesn't want to go so far as to putting full on glitter on their nail. This is like the perfect in between. So I'm gonna go ahead and cure that. And then last but definitely not least, our amber, which is definitely just, this one is, it's my favorite. It's just so perfect. And I actually really like mixing. So when I do, I'm going to show you guys too here. When I do my tortoiseshell, I really like mixing the amber and the sheer brown. I think it makes it a little bit darker and gives it a little bit more depth. But I like that we have both of these because you can absolutely have the option of doing a brighter tortoiseshell or a darker tortoiseshell. Because I know I do have those clients who come in and they say, oh, I want tortoiseshell, but I want it to be a little more orangey, or I want it to be a little more brown. Can you comment on why LE did these in, I missed that, in Jimmy formula versus P plus? Honestly, I can't say exactly why, but me personally, I'm happy that they did it in Jimmy Gel, because I think that with sheer products like this, at least for some of them, it's nice to be able to build with them. Like, I think that a lot of people that want these sheer glass, at least like our base colors, it's really nice to be able to build this out on a form and have a truly glass nail and have that strength and durability of Jimmy Gel. But you never know.
We make all kinds of stuff in all different lines.
We also are very trendy, and we know that tortoise shell is so trendy. So I think this
Yeah.
being the first release, they really everybody talked about wanting these colors. I don't think
Hmm.
this will be the last of colors, but can't say more than that.
I was like, and I think that's as much as I can say.
Keep coming to Power Hours is all I can say.
Exactly. 100%. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys. I had this idea earlier because I wanted to show you like just something fun with each of the different colors just so you could see it. So I'm going to actually go in with Aurora Kitty, one of our new cat eyes, which are fantastic. The pigments are stunning. And it's so nice to finally have a clean cat eye gel that I don't have to worry about what I'm filing off or what I'm inhaling every time my client comes back or it getting on me. Okay, so I'm just going to do a thin layer of Aurora Kitty on here. Grab my magnet. And again, I have all these linked on my Instagram in my bio, but I really just like my cylinder magnet that I get from Amazon. That's my favorite one. So I'm just going to activate my cat eye here, and I'm going to focus it towards the tip. So I'm going to actually bring this and push it down. So you can see I'm making a little bit of a French focus again on the sides. I always feel a little bit like Harry Potter. Like I feel like I'm like waving a magic wand or something when I'm going back and forth like that. It looks a little silly. Okay. So I'm going to push that back again and I'm going to cure that. And that is also a 60-second cure. So I have been encapsulating like all of these sheer colors with the cat eyes, and it's so fun. I love it. And it just gives a different effect to it. And then with this guy, I really like to blush. I still have not, I've been bad. I have not placed a Light Elegance order yet recently, and I need to. So I still have my messed up block brush that I accidentally ruined. So cue my insert that I have to bring up. I think in every power hour that I've done, do not use cleanser on your brush unless you want it to look like this. If it's synthetic, don't use cleanser, don't use acetone. Honestly, don't even use brush cleaners. Just use clear gel and a clean, dry LE wipe. Do not be like me. Don't do this. I have one that I like to have messed up on purpose, but I accidentally messed up my good ones.
Ashley, when
That's
you get
one.
your good one, when you're at HQ for your class and you get your good
Yeah.
one, keep that one so we can keep teaching this lesson because it's a great visual.
Oh, I definitely will. I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna be like, okay, do not throw this away. Use this as the example for
What
sure.
not to do.
Yeah. Don't be like Ashley. Don't use cleanser on your synthetic brush. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of just white buttercream and I'm just going into that. I really like doing my stone nails like straight in the inhibition layer, so I didn't cure this or cleanse this or anything. I'm just purely going to use pressure to move some of this around. Okay, so once I have it looking how I want, I'm gonna take a clean dry wipe, lightly press, pull, and that's how your brush should be cleaned off. And then without any gel on there, I'm gonna go in and just press, and I'm almost squeegeeing. And this is also why I always have one that's messed up because I when you're going in and you're pressing and doing these like stone nails and marble nails like this, you are applying a lot of pressure near that tang on the brush. So you just want to make sure that you are not using a super nice brush for that, because it will get a little frayed with all that pressure. But just to do something real quick here, I'm not trying to get too intricate with it because I want to show you guys as much as possible. So I'm going to cure that. And then I'm going to pull back out our cat eye. I'm going to take our sheer brown. Actually, I think if I move my light a little bit. Oh no, I feel like that's darker. Okay.
Yeah, it darkened it.
I was like, never mind, that didn't help. Okay, so now I'm going to take our sheer brown. I'm going to go back over for a second layer. And this is like the main reason that I love that these are in the Jimmy Gel formulation. Like I said, I love that you can build with them. I love that you can do your structure with them. So now instead of having to worry about, okay, I just encapsulated this, now I need to go in and add another layer to encapsulate it to build my structure, I can just come in and just fill in any low spots that I need to with my sheer brown and build my structure with the bottle that I already have out and the brush I have in hand. And that saves so much time. That's one less product you have to grab out. And I can still shape this and I'm not going to lose that sheer look. So it's not like having to file through and you're going to end up with clear or something. You can file and shape this and then top coat it. But I really like the look of the cat eye inside. The brown and especially the amber too. I just think it's so fun. Cure that. And then you could take a color and go over top of this. You could do another coat of the sheer sparkle. But I'm going to show, even if I wanted to apply not even over the whole nail, just over some of the areas. Like if you've ever seen like a citrine quartz, it's yellowy clear quartz. So you see little pops of that come through, but still a little clear. Here, that one. That was an interesting question I just saw come through.
I know, I was about to deliver it to you since you're curing. So the question is, and for YouTube's sake, if I already have a colored Jimmy Gel or Lexi Lime, would I get these same effects? And my general answer would be no, because each color is individual. Some are sheer now, some aren't.
Correct. Yeah, I would say there's very few that you could use that you would get the same effect from. I think the only one, like you get a similar effect, like I use soft pink to blur my ombres because it is a little like milky, but still sheer. If you use a thin enough layer of Boomer White Jimmy Gel, you could absolutely still get that kind of buildable ability and that look and appearance of being able to have that marshmallow effect. But definitely in our other products, like we don't have any colors or anything that resembles this at all.
Not
You're
jelly.
not,
In the
it's not going to
past, you've
be,
shown it. I know
yes,
in our power hours before you've shown mixing clear, but I don't think you get the same sheer clear
no.
transparency as you do with these jellies.
No, and the fact that these are just the way that they balance the pigment, and we tested these for months prior to them rolling them out. All of us like just like testing the pigment, seeing how we liked it, like having the perfect balance of color to sheer in these is part of why they're so great. But you can definitely like you can mix colors for sure into your Lexi line products or your other Jimmy Gel products, but it definitely won't be quite the same color payoff. Okay, I meant to dip my brush into my white and I accidentally dipped it into my black. 1 second. Yeah, I'm doing these over a clear, just a full cover tip. Okay. So for the black one, just for a little quick Halloween design, I'm going to use stripey. So the question in there is, if you add color or dilute your Jimmy Gel or Lexi line, will it affect the strength? You'd have to add quite a bit of pigment for it to really affect the strength or durability of it. And frankly, you wouldn't need that much pigment, especially if you're mixing buttercream with it. You wouldn't need that much. So I would say likely no. And I know Jim has talked about this before, that it would take so much, and it might change the viscosity slightly just because you're agitating everything with mixing, but you're not going to get any less strength or durability from your Jimmy Gel if you add a little bit of color or your Lexi line. So I'm just basically creating a little spider web. Now you could do this with black too if you wanted a darker effect, or you could even use a gray buttercream. That would be really cool. It would be a little less visible, but it would still give a really cool effect, because what we're going to do is paint this and then put another coat of sheer black on top. And you could do this with all kinds of designs. Right now, I'm using my stripey brush to do these, but I really like anything that is 7mm or longer. Probably preferably a nine, closer to a 9mm brush. Okay, so I'm just very quickly just doing a little spider web and throw that into cure. Pull back out my stone nail that we finished up. And the cat eye nail. So now we're to the sheer amber. And normally, again, I would use my block brush for this. I love using my block brush for almost like one stroke designs, but I'm going to use swirly. Okay, so I'm going to use swirly. And this is one of our art brushes, one of our other art brushes. And this one's just a lot shorter than our stripey, so you can see side by side. So still both very thin, very fine, but I really like the length and stiffness of this one. Okay, so I'm going to take actually I'm doing my white gel paint instead of buttercream. And the reason is I just want it to be a little bit thicker for what I'm doing. I'm going to do some flowers. So I'm just going to pat at the tip and then pull down to a point. So this is where I would use my block brush because it is a little bit faster, but there is a little bit more of a learning curve to that because you do have to twist your brush as you're pulling down. And for some people, that is a little bit more difficult to learn when you're just starting out with nail art or even just painting in general. And I'm going to leave some space on these. So I'm almost picturing where petals would be in between, and I'm leaving space there for those petals. And I like to leave a little bit of texture at the tip of the petal. So you can even go back and add a little texture to the top of that one. And then I'm going to do another little one up here in the corner. And this is why I prefer gel paint for these. Because it's just a little bit thicker and I can manipulate it a little more. And I don't have to worry about it moving at all. And buttercreams are great because they don't move at all either, but gel paint really doesn't move. And you could do whatever kind of flowers you want. You don't have to do this specific type of daisy. Anything, actually fall leaves are really fun too. You could do different colors of fall leaves and do something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cure that. So again, just make sure you're leaving those spaces in between. So I'm gonna bring back out our spider web and take my sheer black and we're just gonna do another layer on top of that. And I'm just applying this in a thinner coat. So I want it to still be sheer. It looks a little more sheer in person than it is seeming on camera, but you can still see that spider web through the black. And then you could add more spider webs on top, or you could just keep the entire thing sheer underneath. Now that I'm thinking about it after the fact, silver metallic buttercream would look really cool for that too.
I was just thinking that because it'll give that weird reflection through the sheer.
Yes. Also, any of our, oh my gosh, like ice kitty, stormy kitty, pretty kitty, all of those sandwiched in between two layers of the sheer black would
That'd be
also be
cool.
stunning.
It would give
That would be a
dimension to
really
the,
cool, oh,
yeah.
it would be a really cool Halloween, but not Halloween. I have a handful of clients who are like, I love Halloween, but I don't want this, I want soft launch Halloween.
I feel like the magnetic shift would give more three dimension to those individual web lines. It would be cool.
Oh, absolutely. That's a fun thing with sheer colors and these like jelly colors being able to be buildable. You can just do so many different things with them. Okay, so I'm just adding another layer of amber over top. So it's just going to dull the white on those flowers. And I'm going to cure that again. And then I'm going to apply a layer of amber on this, on my last blank tip here. And we're going to do a tortoiseshell now. Because I feel like that's what everybody's here for.
I know, I was just thinking like with these colors, we gotta see like how these come together in your tortoise shell.
Yes. And I love a good tortoiseshell. I've been doing a lot of them the last couple weeks. And I actually have a client who's coming in this afternoon. She wants tortoiseshell, but on one of the nails, she wants a tortoiseshell pumpkin. And I'm so excited. Okay, so now that we have this one back out, I'm going to take my swirly brush again, dip into my white gel paint, and I'm now going to go in between the petals that I originally created and finish out this flower. And I can make this second layer of petals a little bit bigger so that they really fill in the gaps in between. And you can really see the dimension between the two. And you could even add another layer of amber on top of this if you wanted to. It's still going to have that first layer darker than the second layer. And And I'm just using the very tip of my brush and then applying more pressure as I come down to create that width on that petal. And this is pretty much the motion I use for all of my brushes, or I mean, for all of my painting. If I am doing like leaves, flowers, I use the bulk of the product on the tip of my brush to create the very top of the petal. And then I pull and almost lay my brush flat. I combined brush and flat into one word. That's another Ashleyism. Okay. Okay, so I like how that looks.
So cute. I
Cure
love it.
that.
I love layering color, like the same color with a sheer jelly.
Me too. And
I
now I'm
love
so
that.
happy that I don't have to try to make it myself. I'm just so excited.
Amen.
Because not only things are curing, not only do I love Light Elegance because they make great products, but I love them mostly because they make really clean products. And unfortunately, I developed allergies really early on in my career. A lot of people will say, "Oh, if Light Elegance doesn't make it, just buy it someplace else." For some people, it's not only an option. Like I have to look at ingredients, and those things matter to me when I'm purchasing a product, not just for myself, but for my clients. And that's a big part of why I just make what I need out of Light Elegance products. But now I don't have to mix all those things because we have them.
I want to
And I'm so
piggyback on
happy.
too, because I saw something recently, and I'm not going to say where, but saying if you use the products correctly, these types of allergens shouldn't be a problem. But if you're a person who is already allergic, not due to exposure, there is no other option. You have to go without some of these allergens. You're a good
Correct.
example of that.
Yeah, because most of my career, I've worn gloves, I wear a mask, I've done the dust collectors, I follow proper procedure. But the first couple years of my career were spent in a salon where the owners did not care and they used really bad product, and we were not allowed to wear gloves or masks or take care of ourselves. Those things were out of my control, and I was told it was just the industry I was in. And even though the rest of my 16-year career I did everything correctly, it's too late for me now. And that's really the reason I found Light Elegance in the first place. But everybody definitely should be still cautious. It's still gel product. You don't want to be, we work with chemicals all day. You want to be aware of that and be cautious and always be taking proper precautions to protect yourself and your clients. So see, you can still see the difference between that white and the bottom white, because technically now the bottom leaves have 2 layers of clear or of sheer, and then the top only has one. So it still looks different, but I really like the look either way, either left white, or if you want it a little more muted. It is a very 70s vibe, and I love it. I love 70s vibes always.
The chat is going gaga for that one.
Okay, so I do tortoiseshell a couple different ways. So I'll show you like the quick way I do it. So I use a lot of P plus products when I'm doing tortoiseshell. So I actually use, whether I'm doing P plus or whether I'm doing buttercream, I use the same colors either way. I use Please Be Seated, which is a dark brown. And then I use black tie, or basically either the butter, like I said, the buttercream or the P plus equivalent of black tie and Please Be Seated. And it depends on how I decide that, is if my client wants it to be a little more brown black, or if they want it to be a little more sheer. If they want it to be more sheer, then I use buttercream. If they want it to be a little more dark, I use P plus. So I'm going to apply a very thin layer of our P plus no wipe. Just a very little baby layer. And then I'm going to take, please be seated. And I'm just using the brush in the bottle. And I'm just going to drop it in random spots in different sizes. And I'm just wiggling my brush as I move around. And just dropping little bits in here.
I'm
Now I
impressed with the
wipe.
amount of bloom. That looks good.
Oh yeah, the P Plus top coat is what I use for all of my like blooming, and I mean I use super shiny if I'm doing buttercreams, but both like work really well. You just have
Mhm.
to apply, I think people apply too much and so it pools instead of blooms. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, the more top coat, the better the bloom, but it actually just wants to like float almost if you use too much of it. So I'm just going to wipe off my P Plus brush on that dry wipe. There's no cleanser on that. And then I can put that back in the bottle. So I'm just going to let that sit for a second. So I usually do 2 nails at a time just to give it time to settle. I prefer using buttercream. I just saw a question that says, is it okay to mix P Plus under the Jimmy Gel or is buttercream preferred? I do typically prefer buttercream, but when using such a thin layer like this and encapsulating it in Jimmy Gel, I wouldn't necessarily want to encapsulate it if it was Lexiline, but I find Jimmy Gel and P Plus just work so well together that I don't have any issues with it, but as long as it's encapsulated, but especially with the tortoise shell, everything's going to be sandwiched in there. Okay, so I like how that looks. I'm going to go ahead and cure that.
I love how the P Plus gave soft edges to the brown.
Yes. Yeah, and that's where if they want a little more see-through, that's a really great option because P Plus is definitely going to give you less color payout when you're mixing it like on top of a top coat. But a lot of people like how that looks, and I like when it looks a little more smoky, smudgy.
I
And
have a
then
question for you in the chat while you're curing.
yeah,
Autumn Lane Beauty asks, I only use buttercreams. Can I mix some buttercream color with super shiny, then drop it in to bloom a bit better for a less color
absolutely.
payout?
Absolutely. I do that as well. If it's a color that is like, because some buttercreams definitely are almost like, which it's not a bad thing, but they are so pigmented that you have a harder time getting them to bloom. I do actually mix mine with super shiny, so that is a great option.
That's what I was thinking. I thought your choice of the P plus for this one. I like soft edges on tortoise shell artwork,
Me
not
too. Yeah.
not hard color ends. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really base it on what the client asked for, but if I'm just doing my default, I personally like a little softer. So I'm going to apply another thin layer of my, or no wipe, P plus no wipe. And you can see how dry my brush is when I'm pulling. I'm applying a very small amount. I am not applying a thick layer of this top coat. So now I'm going to go in with our black tie P plus. And I'm going to do the same thing, only I want to overlap, but not. So I still want to leave some brown showing, but I personally like my tortoiseshell a little on the darker, smokier side. When you find that you're not getting the color payoff you want, that's when you need to wipe off your brush and dip back in a little bit.
Ashley, remind me the very first layer you started with the amber, didn't you?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
We had that
I always
question.
start with the amber.
Yeah, she is the amber Jimmy gel color.
So just some black, as much as you want to add. You can go back and smudge some of it out if you want to. Just using very light touch and just wiggling a little bit. Almost like making your hand like a ultrasonic cleanser or something. Just okay. I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. The the first brown, was that the Jimmy color question?
I think now she's asking, so can you tell them the name of the two P plus colors you're using on top of the amber to get the tortoiseshell effect again?
Yes. So started with amber, sheer amber, then moved on to our P plus no wipe and our P plus please be seated or buttercream please be seated, whichever you prefer, and then black tie. So now that I let that sit for a second, I'm going to go ahead and cure that. And tortoiseshell is a labor of love, which is why I always do multiple nails at a time, because you really do have to just be patient and let it sit. But that's also why I do really thin layers when I'm doing my top coat, because it doesn't take a lot to bloom. So you don't need to pile it on there. So then while you're waiting and you're like letting your 2 or 3 nails that you're working on sit, nothing is like running into your client's cuticles or anything like that. You're not chasing after it. So now you could absolutely just move on from here. But me personally, I like to add some darker pieces. So I take my swirly, and you can take black tie or your gel or black gel paint and just create, it's almost like cow print. Like you don't want it to be perfect. So I'm just gonna wiggle my brush around and make these little like haphazard shapes. You almost want little kind of funky pieces sticking off. Look a little more natural, organic.
While you're painting that, I have a question for you. Could you
Okay.
use Cutie Base as a blooming gel?
Absolutely.
I feel like you used to teach
Absolutely.
that until the P plus no wipe came out.
Yes, I did. I always used Cutie Base until the P plus no wipe came out.
Do you
I do prefer it because I feel like it blooms faster. I don't think it blooms better necessarily, but I find that it blooms faster and I use less of it.
having watched you do both, I have to agree. I was shocked. This is the first time I've seen you use the P plus no wipe to do your blooming, and I was
Yes.
really surprised at how quick the edges softened.
Yeah, so it definitely, I do love Cutie Base still, but I have found since the no wipe came out that it does bloom faster and I have to use less of it. So that's been definitely a change in my go-to. But if I am running low on P plus no wipe, I will absolutely just grab my Cutie Base. Whatever I have more of, that's what I'll use.
It's always good to have an option.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the best thing is like you really, there's no wrong way to do any of it. It's just like what is like your preference. Like somebody might use Cutie Base and absolutely love it. I feel like Cutie Base is a little bit thinner than our no wipe. So I feel like in Arizona it just moves, it runs a little quicker and I have to use a little more of it to get the blooming effect. But I do
And
still love it for blooming gel.
the brilliance of you can wipe it off until you cure it. So if you try something and you fail, no big deal, you can wipe it off.
Exactly. And that's, I really can't stress that enough when referencing not just nail art, but working with any of your base products. Just sit down and apply it and mess with it, watch it, see what it does, apply 2 different things side by side, see what they do, see how they look different. And it's really going to give you the ability to reach for anything in your drawer and know exactly what it's going to do and how it's going to do it. And then when you see a nail art idea, then you start to go through that kind of almost Rolodex in your brain. I just dated myself a little bit there.
You so did.
I was
You're
like,
still young for Rolodex.
Christy says, what is that?
Yeah, Christy's way too young to know
Oh my
Rolodex.
God. So you go through your little filing cabinet in your brain. Actually, that's everybody probably just uses their phones
Goal
now.
too. It's your contacts in
Oh
your
my gosh.
iPhone.
Your context clues in your brain. You go through that and you're like, oh, okay, I've used this product for this and I've used this for that. You see a nail design and you start being able to compile, maybe I could do it this way, or maybe I could use this product. And then you sit down and you play with it. And so most times when I figure out a nail design or try something new or I post a tutorial, like there are probably at least 10 tries prior to that tutorial that I didn't like how it came out. Nobody ever does anything perfect on the first try, no matter how long they've been doing it.
I also love nature for beginners. Like nature's
Yes.
so
Yeah.
forgiving. You can make up a flower that doesn't exist and it'll look beautiful.
Absolutely.
Having to paint someone's face as a beginner, forget about it.
Yes. Agreed. And then I'm going to go in. So, what I like to do personally, like I said, I like to combine the sheer amber and the sheer brown. I a little bit more of a brown tortoise shell than the orangey, but I'm a earth tones girly. Give me an earth tone any day. I'm a sucker for it. So this is where the advantage of having this in Jimmy Gel comes in, because now I've done a couple layers and things aren't completely smooth, but all I have to do is finish off my structure on that nail with my Jimmy Gel, and look how smooth that is. And now I can just, if I need to, I can invert their hand, let all of that product come to the center a little bit. And then I actually really like doing that too, because when you build the structure with these sheer colors, it does concentrate it a little bit more. So you could even, this is just, now you're just getting straight up me thinking how I think off camera, but you could even do a slip layer of the sheer brown, but for your dollop, actually use amber and then invert the hand. And I think that would create such a cool effect. So I'm going to go ahead and cure that now for 60 seconds.
Looks awesome.
And I am going to wait for that to finish curing and just so I can show you guys. But if you have any questions that are coming up, start thinking of them, start putting them in the chat. And then when we swap over, that way we're ready to answer some questions. But here's what we did today, using all those new, fun. I think this one and the tortoise shell are probably my favorite,
I
but
would say,
also, oh, the cat eyes
yeah.
though, and the Halloween.
Yeah. I would
Mm,
say though, those are the two that are getting the most reactions in the chat.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're just so pretty. I think there's nothing you could, I don't know, they're just so pretty. I think that this with, I think I actually just saw in the chat what I was about to say, that
Yeah.
these would look good as a set. Like, I
Helena
think
says
that
that.
these with the cat eye and then
They
that,
would.
yeah, no, they're
Yeah.
stunning. Okay, let me grab the tortoise shell. So this is all cured.
Ooh, I like Tracy's comment. I might have to send that to Lexi. Can I put in request now for a forest green jelly in time for Christmas and a red? I want a red
Hey,
jelly and a green jelly for sure.
I'm gonna back that up 1,000% because I'm
Everybody email HQ begging for
red
many
jelly.
voices get us heard.
Yes, 100%. Everybody bug them. But yeah, so this is, let me see if I can get a little closer. But I think one thing that people do that kind of takes away from the tortoiseshell look that I feel like they struggle with, or they're like, why doesn't mine look tortoisey enough? I think it's the adding the little dark black spots afterwards, because typical tortoiseshell has 3 layers. It has that brown smudge, it has the lighter black smudge, but then it always still has the darker little black splotches. And I think that will make or break a tortoiseshell personally. And it's really fun because you can do it with different colors too. Like I did one that kind of, it came out looking like Sully from Monsters Inc., but it was cool. It was a fun time. And then just show you guys one last time before I switch my camera over. these Jimmy colors. Just so excited. You guys are gonna definitely want to grab these because we don't have anything like it. And I didn't get to show any of it, but I'm definitely going to show some pictures I have coming up soon on my Instagram for Halloween and also for tutorials and things like that using these colors for shading. I definitely will have some of that coming up. So let me go ahead and switch my camera over real quick. All right. Was there anything in the chat that we missed?
No, you did an excellent job of answering
Hey.
as you went. Even things that weren't what you were doing in the moment, your brain is incredible that you're able to keep it all going in the same direction and still veer off.
I literally don't know how I do it sometimes because half the time I can't remember what I ate for lunch yesterday, but I can remember every Light Elegance color and I can read a chat and do nails at the same time.
It's what makes you a great educator.
But
So now would be a good time if any of you want to unmute yourself and ask her a question. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the Jimmy colors. You have Ashley's attention.
yeah, you can ask anything.
Oh, Jackie's in there. I just saw her.
I was gonna say I thought I just saw.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that you get so much love in the chat. That's what I love about the lives. Like, it's so cool to watch these videos on YouTube, but the camaraderie and the comments, the live section is everything for me. The
Yeah,
chat.
it's like as it's happening is so much better.
I'm gonna unspotlight you then because it'll be weird if I'm just a voice. Yeah. Since nobody has any questions, it'd be a good time to share your social media and your code.
Oh my gosh, somebody just come help. You're so sweet. I love you.
Your brows look
My
amazing.
brows look
I love
amazing.
it.
Thank you.
They do.
I'm like, oh my God, thank you. I do try. I worked really hard on growing them, so they're there. Okay, no, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in today. If there's any other questions you guys think of after the fact, my DMs on Instagram are always open. I try to get to them as quickly as I can. And my Instagram is badash_nails, like Ashley, bad Ash. I feel like I need to like just write it on a little sign and have it. And and my code today is Ashley15. So that will get you 20% off Light Elegance today. If you are outside the US, definitely be sure to check your local distributors. And even if you're in the US, if you have a local distributor near you that sells Light Elegance, definitely go and support them. Go check out the product, go purchase from them when you can. We got to try to always support our local distributors.
Very
And I
nice.
think the LE my class is full.
Yes, I was about to go
Okay.
there actually. I'm glad you brought it up. So officially, Ashley's class, her bachelor class on October 13 and 14 is full. I don't want to, I want to say if one person called begging, I find sometimes they can get in, but if you're going to do it now, because it is full. I do also want to say, since this does go live to YouTube, Ashley has a very special skill at reading and answering live questions in our Zoom chat. So if you're looking in the YouTube chat, you might be confused why you're not seeing questions we're referring to. So I encourage you to sign up at lightelegance.com for the power hours. The benefit are you get to join it live and ask questions and get answers. But then we also do record it and we send it out, which is if you're in YouTube, you're watching this now. So yeah, join. And then also we have LEU 2.0 if you are looking for education and you can't get to a live class with Ashley. We do have the benefit of LEU 2.0. You can go to lightelegance.com and sign up for that. And lastly, my favorite community option is hashtag new to LE on Facebook. We have a group. Our community is there, all the educators are there, so you can ask real world questions and get real world answers, or you can ask very technical questions and the educators can give you the LE answer. Ashley, thank you so much. You're always magnificent.
Thank you. I just saw a quick question about the LEU. When we say she said does she have to start at 1.0, jump to 2.0?
No,
It's just we just revamped all of our classes and updated everything. So it's all brand new, shiny, and ready to go. So it's not like you have to like redo anything or start over anywhere. It's all revamped, all updated videos, all updated education so that everything is current and that you're getting the absolute like most up-to-date education possible with all
The
of our
reason
products.
we still say 1.0 and 2.0 is because 1.0 still lives because people already signed
Yes.
up for it and they're completing
Yes.
their process before we end it. So very
Mhm.
soon we will stop using the terms 1.0 and 2.0, which do get quite confusing. But good catch on the question. All right, thank you again. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you guys every week, and you really are helping uplift this program and make it. We're booked into 2026 now, so we're
Yeah.
going nowhere. But, anyways, everybody have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys.